Hey, and welcome to my third Overwatch breakdown video. You'll see there's a few changes I've made with this video. I'm down in the corner, it's me, I'm Corry. And yeah, so there's going to be a little bit of a change to how I do my breakdown videos from now on. With this one, I'm going to make sure to just, at the very start, if you just want a quick snippet of how I made the overall groups and the sounds, and then if you want to stick around you can see the in-depth version of me breaking down each clip. So I'll play the clip first, and then after that, I guess we'll just go through like the groups. I'll show you how I actually got some of the sounds quickly, and then I'll go into more in-depth detail. So I'll play the clip very first. The video lags sometimes in this. So it's a very quick clip. He literally just turns around and fires the bow. So I'm really lucky to have quite a lot of bow recordings, and I have that because last year I went to France with my girlfriend, and she was in an archery club, and she actually had her bow at home. So what was really cool about this is I had my Tascam on me, and I just wanted to record it as much as possible. It sounded really cool. I've seen a lot of people say that bows don't actually sound how they normally do, but this had like a nice little twang after it, after you like shot it. So this was really nice to record. I also recorded some like military weapons which were lying about, disused military weapons, I'll say that, and the actual impacts of the target going in. These didn't make it into the actual clip because they were just like, it sounded like a really cracky noise and just didn't sound that nice. And yeah, I actually got a chance to fire it back then, which was awesome. It's a lot harder than you think. The first shot, the yellow one, is like my first time shooting, and I was like, oh my god, I'm great at this. And then after that you can see me falling off to the side, and yeah, I lost quite a lot. But anyway, yeah, it sounded great. So after I had the shot, I got Nat to I started recording my girlfriend Natalie shoot instead. And yeah, it really turned out quite well. It made the bow sound super authentic, as though it looks quite futuristic. So what I'll do, like I said at the start here, I'm just going to break down the groups quickly, and then after that I can go into more in-depth detail. So the first red parts are basically the bow shooting and a bit of movement on the bow, and that's literally all that is. So there's no tension on the string or anything, it's just, these are all the recordings from the bow, apart from this little cinematic whoosh, but everything else is literally just the bow. Green parts are the sweeteners for like the tension on the string, and actually some like wind and chimes that I've used, which are actually really chuffed with how they turned out as well. And what's crazy about this entire clip is I've not used a lot of processing on any of these. I've only got like maybe 5 or 6 sounds with effects on them, and everything else is quite raw, so I'm really chuffed with how it worked. And last but not least is just a bit of armor foley, and then me inhaling before he fires. I was fortunate enough to have Nat along with me, actually coach me along with how you fire a bow, so you breathe in before you shoot. So I wanted to make sure it sounded like as authentic as possible. So that's like the basic breakdown done. If you just are happy to see that, you can jump out now if you want. But if anyone wants to see more of the actual how I made each single sound, yeah, stick around. So the quiver loading, this part here, I'll try and be a bit quicker with this one because it isn't too intense. This is basically just these like pilgrim beads that was in Nat's house, and I shook them about a little bit, and this is my idea for like the quiver arrows moving about, and I'm quite chuffed with how it sounded actually. It's really low in the mix though. So yeah, really subtle. I just thought I'd give it a nice little element of detail. And this one I'm really chuffed about. There's a bit of pitch shifting on these two, but this is literally not moving the bow. And when I imported the file, I just literally moved it back along, and I didn't need to do anything else with it. It lined up perfectly. So I'll play these actually. It's crazy. So I didn't have to like try and get them matched up with the movement. They just work perfectly. So basically they're just pitched down, that's it. Because it's got that authentic bow sound, they sound like they fit in the scene really well. I do have a bit of reverb going on in space again, and just the maximizer with the limiter. But I didn't need to limit too much because everything was like a nice. I'm quite chuffed with the Tascam. It made sure. Usually it's awful and it peaks all the time, but these recordings are really nice. I also forgot to say that I done like another play rate slowdown. It actually does slow down the clip anyway, but it's quite fun to dip the audio as the slow motion happens as well. But the exciting part is the actual fires. These are just bowl, like literally just a firing. Me standing next to it with the Tascam and just letting them nat fire. There's no effects on them, and they sound quite good for what they are. The video's lagging a bit, but they're really twangy, and I love that element. It sounds so, I don't know, it sounds so authentic. So yeah, I'm really chuffed with them. No effects as well. Then I have these like cinematic whooshes, just for like I'm turning, and before he shoots. Sorry, I play from the start for you hear the leading one. They're just really nice with the effect of like the shooting on top. It really works quite well together. And then these last two aren't the actual tails of the arrows going away. They're literally just like the click of the bow, like releasing. Marker 3. But they sound really nice. They've got like a nice little wooden sound to them. So that's literally the red section. Super quick. I'll play these all again from the start. They all add like a nice layer on top of each other, and yeah, I'm really chuffed with how that sounds. So that's where I started from, and then I started to do sweeteners on top, and this is how the sweeteners sound. So these are what make it sound like quite nice on top of like the basic Foley. Usually the past clips I've had, they've been like super intense and a bit abstract, but this time it was really detailed and delicate, so I had to be really careful. These aren't actually my strongest types of redesigns either. I usually struggle, but with paying attention to each little part of the character and trying to make up like how his cloth movement, how the tension works, it really turned out quite nice. So to start with, I have this whoosh, which is super low in the mix for firing. It's literally like a whoosh, like a cinematic whoosh, but I've like shortened it really like a lot, and I put a pulsing gate on it just to make it sound like the arrows like flickering a little bit. It's really hard to hear in the mix, but it adds just like another little layer on top. Chimes. These I was super chuffed with. I've done a bit of volume automation on this one, and it works really nice with the slow-mo. It makes it sound like it's like the metal elements of the actual arrow. I love that. I was so chuffed with that. Just literally some like chime sounds. Rubber stretch. Again, this is just some like leather movement that I've recorded, and this is for the drawback. The drawback, I found I was doing the rubber stuff on top, but I also needed some metal as well for like the actual bow creaking. Sounds a bit derpy on its own, but having all these different like low, high, and like the mids for these really worked well. And you have them three together. Really cool. The metal rattles, these were actually like massive long clips of just like metal rattling for like ages. And so what I've done, and what I love about Reaper, is just being able to like squash sounds together and not altering the pitch. You could decide to check that off and on. Yeah, preserve pitch within changing rate. I just turned it off and it sounds super nice sometimes. Sometimes it sounds awful. And I've done a bit of envelope pitching as well for them, and they sound really good. If I drag the whole sound out, it's literally just like this old like metal cabinet rattling, but they sound super good when they're squashed like this. No effects on these either. Yeah, something like this, I don't think you need a lot of effects because it's so organic compared to my last clip, which is all like synthetics and tons of processing. Wind, I thought I would give it a nice airy sound. I've done a bit of volume automation here again. to give it like it's kind of got a cinematic effect as well, but I kind of like tried to do a bit more character development. Like this guy is like an archer. He might be like he can control the wind and something like that. So I thought I'd add something like that in there. Same with like the chimes and stuff. Tried to make him like a peaceful, content kind of guy. These ones are my favorite though. They're literally just like the arrows I recorded but reversed. As you could hear, there's a lot of weird pitch stuff happening here. You don't actually hear it in the mix, but I think I really like it. It's like a build up of it. And you don't actually hear that weird delay stuff in there, but that's what I have on, a delay on them with a really mid feedback with a short delay. But yeah, it sounds really cool. Tied that in with like the fire and like the whoosh. Yeah, I'm super chuffed with how that turned out. So that is the sweetener elements. Play that from the start as well. So yeah, and last but not least is really simple stuff. Literally just me doing some like leather movement for is like a garb that he's got on. Oh, it got stuck. I think it's looping. Sometimes it goes crazy like that. Super chuffed with that. And then again, me breathing. Sounds a bit weird, but it was really hard to get an inhale noise through your nose. I really struggled with that, and I think it works quite well. My choice, I was actually going to dip all the audio and have like him go, and then just like fade the audio back in, but the clip is so quick that there's no time for that. Yeah, I even tried like altering the pitch, the play rate right at that point, and it didn't work at all. So I'll play the clip one more time. So, super chuffed for that. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and there'll be more videos on the Sound Ads coming. I hope you enjoyed. Cheers.